Then we'll bring this fool in.
Flood. We really got to watch those areas and those communities. So
your name's not Butt 3000, you yo-ho.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and who would have thought it? Kamala Harris is a moron. I mean, I think I knew it. I think you knew it. I think if you knew it, you're leaving a like on this video right now because you're an amazing person. Kamala Harris caught on not only a hot mic moment proving she's a moron, having to get fed her questions and answers so she appears to know what she's talking about, but a whole slew of other embarrassing things happened over the last 24 hours that have her plummeting in the polls. The betting markets are surging for Trump. Again, both simply directional, nothing more important than voting early in person. Seriously, many states have already started. Make sure you get and you vote early in person. But this story is absolutely hilarious. I want to remind people, while I prefer you watch on the Mean Green website, I am live every day at 1 Eastern on my live stream channel. Many of you don't know about that. It's called Quartercast, one word. It's actually Quartercast Live. I'm live every Monday and Wednesday with Stick Sexenhammer, every Tuesday and Thursday with Melanie Mack, every Friday with a special guest. This Friday will be Florida man Luke Rudkowski. So if you absolutely don't want to go to the Mean Green website, I do appreciate, or you should subscribe to Quartercast and tune in daily at 1 Eastern or watch the replay. Kamala Harris is accused of being fed questions in bizarre Hurricane Milton briefing moment. Kamala Harris had an obvious hot microphone moment during a briefing on Hurricane Milton. Donald Trump's campaign and critics on X are accusing the vice president of being fed what to say during a briefing on Wednesday. While the National Weather Service Director Ken Graham was providing information on the storm, Harris could be seen covering her mouth awkwardly and heard saying, "It's a live broadcast." She can't even do a Q&A or get a briefing without somebody telling her what to say or think. Shortly after that, she posed a question to Graham to provide more information to Americans about the severity of the storm, despite being, quote, downgraded from Category 5 to Category 4. By the way, my heart goes out to everyone in Florida. I'm sure my Florida viewers are busy dealing with real life stuff today. I'm just I hope that a lot of you are okay. There's literally nothing real about this individual. Sorry for the awkward cut in the video there. My dog went berserk as the delivery guy was here. That's what Hucky Puppy does. Now, she can be heard telling an aide who is feeding her questions as a live broadcast before immediately asking that same question. She's a total fraud. Trump War Room wrote in its X post with a clip of the moment. A user posted their own takeaway for the moment, writing on X that the vice president, this lady doesn't even know what's going on. Everything about her is scripted and fake. And yet, by the way, I mean, people who are out there, yeah, Trump's running away with things in the betting markets and the polls are going, it's still going to be a razor thin election. There's going to be no blowouts. I mean, electoral college maybe, but we're talking about, 100,000 votes spread across the entire country could sway the election. So if you don't think your vote matters, it does. President Joe Biden hosted the event, providing a briefing on Hurricane Milton on Wednesday as part of the East Coast are still recovering from Hurricane Helene that hit earlier this month. And by the way, there's another hurricane on the way, I guess, allegedly to Florida. Biden was in person, but Harris joined the call virtually and appeared on screen alongside DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. I'm surprised he wasn't shopping for high-end clothes again. NOAA Director Graham, as well as officials from FEMA, so a bunch of weirdo losers probably. I mean, the whole thing is embarrassing for Democrats. The fact that this woman can't be bothered to show up shows that she wasn't even ready to do the VP's job. The fact that she doesn't have an original thought in her head proves she's, what we already knew.
flood.
Here, watch.
We really
She
got
covers
to
her
watch
mouth.
those areas and those communities. So it
She just said it's a live broadcast.
takes quite a while for that water to drain.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Ken, I have a question for you. You mentioned words matter, and I know there's a lot of media following this brief.
She got fed the talking point from whoever is running things, probably Obama. I don't know. But if you look at what's happening in, since basically Trump's Pennsylvania rally and since Hurricane Helene. That's kind of the cutoff here. This is over the last month. You can see Kamala Harris had a massive lead, as high as 52%. If we go, I guess 1 month is good. If we go 1 week, it's obviously even more stark. Trump overtook her in the betting odds. It means nothing. Register to vote, vote early in person. Okay. After the Pennsylvania rally and the Hurricane Helene stuff, the market, Kamala Harris cratered and has now basically, while recovering a little bit, has now hit an all-time low for Kamala Harris. An all-time low. I mean, except for when she wasn't the candidate, right? When people thought she was going to step out or drop out, Joe Biden thought he was going to drop out, then she rocketed up to the highest she'd ever seen, which was 55, 56% odds. And now Trump has reversed course, stayed the course, and pulled ahead by about 9.5 points in the betting markets, which again, don't mean diddly squat. But this on top of obviously the super humiliating 60 Minutes interview where they had to cover up her stupid word salad answer after, endless gaffes. You see this Morning Glory, haha, like glory hole. As hurricane pummels, Harris stumbles. Hurricane Milton is wreaking havoc across Florida this morning, and even as the recovery and cleanup efforts in Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia continue, the private organizations which have earned the confidence over years, Food for the Poor, Salvation Army, Samaritan's Purse, and Team Rubicon, are again delivering comfort and necessities to devastated communities. The state agencies and their National Guards are also performing as expected and with their expected high standard of effectiveness. Pick your narrative about the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the Department of Homeland Security, President Biden, and Vice President Harris. You can find any narrative you want if you simply search the web for an hour. However, to stick to verified quotes, example number 2, saying we're expecting another hurricane coming. Mayorkas is in fact said that in stun law. Okay, we're expecting another hurricane hitting, and we don't have funds. That's what Alejandro Mayorkas said. Now, the Democrats have come out to say, oh, well, that's crazy. That's fake news. We didn't spend $600 million on illegal immigrants. We still have tons of money, except that's not what the director said. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season and what is imminent. That's what they said. Now, you saw the talking points come out there from Joe Biden coming into Kamala Harris's mouth, as usual, where she, it's like, oh, no, words matter. We're fine. We're fine. No, they're broke. They're broke. And then they sent her out there on this disastrous media blitz. You can see this from Mark Halperin, who's the guy that actually, called Biden stepping down ahead of time.
We're talking about Harris a lot on this program for a couple reasons. Okay. We know what Trump is. We don't need to spend every episode talking about January 6th. We'll talk about it if people want to bring it up. What's happening now with Kamala Harris is this is an experiment. Can you win a short campaign with an untested candidate? And what I'm telling you is happening in private polling is she's got a problem now. Okay. It's not cheering for Trump. It's not predicting Trump will win. She's got a problem. Please bring up the New York Times poll. So new New York Times poll shows her up 3 nationally. We all know that 3 is like the bubble point, right? If she's up 3, she's got a chance to win the electoral college, but they'd rather be at 4 and they don't want to be at 2. So 3 is right at the bubble. I'm not saying this Times poll is right. It's in line with other national polls. Now, bring up 102. Wall Street Journal has a story about Democrats really worried about the 3 Rust Belt states. We all know from our contacts in both campaigns that Pennsylvania is tough for her right now. And without Pennsylvania, there are paths, but there aren't many. There's no path without Wisconsin.
Shout out Wisconsin.
You see here, Tammy Baldwin.
Hey, are you in Wisconsin? Get some tailgates for Trump stickers from tailgates4trump.com. We're almost out, so order them today. But Wisconsin, baby, we can do this.
Senate campaign poll shows Harris down 3 in Wisconsin. We all said yesterday, Wisconsin and Michigan are looking worse for Harris than before. Baldwin has her down 3. Not Baldwin has Harris down 3. Why is the Baldwin campaign sharing its polling with the Wall Street Journal? Good question. Sean, why would a campaign
they want more visits
polling negative for their candidate? Because they want more visits?
Yeah.
Is that the reason?
Yes.
I mean, I think part of this is like a Hillary Clinton redux, which is that you want to make sure people understand what's going on. Plus, you're tied to it. Tammy Baldwin can't win if Kamala Harris loses.
She can.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, she can. She can. I think she
Okay.
will.
She could win in like a squeaker. But if you see, here's the latest polls. Okay, Pennsylvania, Trump +1. Michigan, Trump tied. Ohio, Trump +6. Ohio, Trump +6. Wisconsin is tied. North Carolina, Trump +1. Georgia, Trump +1. You know, I mean, he needs to extend his lead. Trump needs to hit Wisconsin, Georgia, Pennsylvania. That's probably it. I mean, Michigan would be nice, but he has the internal polling numbers. I don't know. I would say whichever is more likely to flip, Wisconsin or Michigan, that's where he should spend time. You know, meanwhile, Kamala Harris getting nuked from orbit by DeSantis again.
There was some praise that came your way from what happened there.
I am working with the President of the United States. I'm working with the Director of FEMA. I'm marshaling all my state assets. We've been doing this now nonstop for over 2 weeks between Helene and this. And so if there's anything I can leverage to benefit my people, I'm going to do it. The fact of the matter is they put out a story saying I didn't even know she was trying to reach me, but she has no role in this process.
I mean, this is just, then also this morning, inflation at 2.4% in September, topping expectations. Jobless claims now the highest since August of 2023. Think about that. I mean, Bidenomics. The consumer price index increased to seasonally adjusted 0.2%. I mean, it increased by that much for the month, putting the annual inflation at 2.4%. Both were a tenth of a percentage point higher than forecasted. It's not, you didn't miss by a mile, but we also know, you know, in 2 months, they'll adjust this to make it worse. You know, excluding food and energy, core prices rose 0.3%. Unemployment on the rise. All great stuff. All great stuff. You know, I mean, I'm sure that the market doesn't care at all. But let's just take a look. Brave really has to do that. So yeah, Dow Jones down, not much. It's, you know, down. It's holding about steady, I suppose. It's early when I'm recording this. Obviously, none of this stuff is good for Kamala Harris whatsoever. And who could possibly have been surprised? I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you check out Quartercast. It'll be linked in the description and linked in the pinned comment down below. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications and tune into our daily live streams at 1 Eastern. I also stream, like when there's Trump events or any breaking news, I'm live on that channel basically every day. We'll talk to you again real soon.